Right, oh. Okay, now I'm not going to appear. I'll kind of... Let me see if I can just refresh this without... Let me see if I can just refresh this without having to close the entire thing and set it up again. Right. Oh. Nope. Okay, let's try closing this and reopening. It was working and then I accidentally closed it, now it's just not. Okay. I mean... Okay, there we go. Needed to change screens so it would decide. There we go.
In a corner of that small, dark room, Sholmes and I waited with bated breath. In time, there came from the ventilator a hiss and a soft, almost growl-like sound. Suddenly, Sholmes sprang into action, lashing furiously with his cane at a point in the darkness. "You see it, Wilson?" he yelled, his tense voice reverberating through the air. I raised my dark lantern shutter, and the room slowly came into view. Sholmes was staring intently at one particular corner when he started whispering to me. The victim's most perplexing final words. The speckled band. I believe this is the terrible coil to which you referred, Wilson. In front of us was an enormous adder, its fangs bared as it threatened to strike. It truly was the most terrible speckled band I had ever seen.
Okay. So I'm just going to try something very quick. Never mind, I didn't realise it was going to be a cutscene.
Pray, do excuse me. The cabin door was bolted from the inside when the man was killed. No marks to suggest the bolt was tampered with in any way. So, this would appear to be a locked room mystery. In his final moments, the victim scrawled a message on the floor. Almost certainly with the ink from this upset bottle. A Russian word. So, the victim was a Russian man then. And the letters are well formed, suggesting he was compos mentis at the time. This is a most extraordinary script. And evidently not penned by the same hand as this message. In fact, I deduce it was written by someone of a different nationality. This paper seal was placed just prior to the incident, by the victim himself, I would venture. Well, what have we here?
Who are you, and what do you think you're doing here?
No one must touch before maritime police come. We must wait!
Shh. That won't be necessary. You see, in less than 5 seconds from now, I will reveal the killer to you.
What? Don't be absurd. This is murder. An in-cabin locked from inside.
Ah yes, the locked room. But that mystery is paper-thin.
You don't mean the culprit is in there?
Who are you, and where have you come from?
I'm a great British consultant detective, the only one in the world. Sherlock Sholmes. I presume you must have heard of me.
Okay, Let's see if we can fix it now. All that this is. Nope. Nice. Okay, give me 1 second again. Just resetting it. Nope. Wait, there. Okay, we'll just have to go like this. And that's me throwing my controller on the ground because I'm not paying attention, because I'm trying to fix things. Oh. I forgot to turn that sound. How dare you suggest I should do these tests before stream? Oh, I didn't. Did I? Alright. Can't move. So, you wake up now, huh? I had to drag you out of the wardrobe. I do not believe how you could not wake up. You are a true cold-blooded man. You found me then. Oh, we found you. And now you pay, criminal. Oh dear. I can't go 5 seconds without being a criminal. How long are you hiding in that tiny wardrobe room? Sorry. Now you have been found, it is time to admit your crimes. Murder. Unfortunately. Though I did get cleared of that one. Unless you want to find out how cold the ocean is, No, I'll tell you everything. There's only one thing I'd like to know from you. Isn't that... What? Only having trouble today. There we go. Why did you do it? Why did you take his life? Mrs. Sato? Wait, what did you just say? Take his life? Where is he? Where's Kazuma? You pretend you do not know. You're a wolf in the sheep's pelt. You are the killer. Do not try to make excuses. But Kazuma-sama's body was discovered not long ago. God damn it. I took one look at that man and went, okay, Maya. Or no, alright, Mia. And here we are. Here in this very cabin that was bodied shut from the inside. His body? Please, do not try to tell me what you were doing this terrible thing in your... Do not try to tell us you were doing this terrible thing in your sleep. Kazuma's dead? But he can't be. And these handcuffs? Surely you don't think I have to know. Why did you take Kazuma-sama's life? Answer me, please. No. No. Good question, why did I? I'm closing Discord because people won't stop messaging me the second I start streaming. Consistently, I need to just start doing that. It was just 2 short weeks ago. Are you sure about this? Won't we get in trouble? Don't you find it fun being a stowaway? Besides, how else could you come to England with me to study? It was really something else when they brought your luggage in here earlier, hello. The way that Russian crewmate just tossed your travelling case onto the floor, I thought I was going to die. Yes, I still can't quite believe that. I really did think you'd be able to fit inside my trunk. You must be even less of a man than you look. Honestly, I think I've broken every bone in my body. Well, it's about 50 days till we dock in Great Britain. But if you confine yourself to my cabin here, I don't expect anyone will discover you. I hope not. I get the feeling those Russians wouldn't be very forgiving of a stowaway. They're a study bunch, that's for sure. What I want to know is, why do we need to keep it a secret from the young lady? From our faithful Judico assistant, Mikotoba, you mean? From your close friend, more to the point? Surely we could confide in her, couldn't we? I don't believe she'd give me away. No, but if she knew what we'd done, that would make her guilty by association. Especially only you and I know about this. I suppose so. Anyway, it's about the time that a steward is supposed to come and clean the cabin. I know it's cramped, but you better get in there, I think. It wouldn't be for long. And anyway, compared to hiding inside my travelling case, it'll be a breeze. Yes, but what if the steward decides to open the wardrobe for some reason? Then I'll be in for it. Stop worrying. I tell you what, why don't you write keep out or something on this piece of paper? What? Then I can stick it over the wardrobe door once you're inside. I didn't know. We've only been at sea for about 15 days. How could this have happened? We were supposed to be going on this adventure to England together. We'll leave you at the next port. Stay quiet until then. Don't make more trouble for yourself. Murderer. No, I'm not a murderer. You said before. You said, do you admit everything about your crimes? No, that's not right. I mean, yes, I did stow away in the ship, but murdering my best friend? No one else could have done it. Admit the truth. Sato-san. Please, tell me what happened. I need to know. Very well. But there's something I would like to ask of you too. Looks nice. She looks like she's ready to destroy me. This nightmare's getting worse by the minute. I suppose all I can do is try and find out what really happened. He really has been killed, hasn't he? This isn't just a bad dream. And these handcuffs, they think I did it. They think I'm Casimir's killer. When they found him, the door was locked from the inside. What do you mean? There's no access to the cabin via a porthole window, and the bolt on the door can't be operated from outside. In other words, after the crime, the culprit couldn't have escaped through these four walls. What? Or to put it another way, the culprit can only have been someone inside this cabin. Or do you have some other explanation? This is impossible. How did he die then? What exactly happened? Are you going to deny the charge, even despite the circumstances? Please, Sato-san, you have to tell me. The cause of death is still undetermined. They don't know how he died? The ship's doctor is examining the body, but of course he has no post-mortem analysis experience. I don't suppose we shall learn more until an expert has been consulted at our next port of call. So presumably that means there are no obvious external signs of injury then? That's true, yes. Can't anybody tell me what actually happened here in this cabin? I don't understand it. Why would anyone want to kill Kazuma? Presumably, that's something you know the answer to better than anyone. Please. Whatever you say, you were here in the cabin after all. Well, yes I was, but... He would always wake up before dawn and do his training first thing in the morning. I was waiting outside his cabin, as I have every day so far in this voyage. But this morning, he did not come. I could sense he wouldn't. Does that mean he was already dead when Sato-san arrived at his cabin door? I wonder. I knocked, but there was no reply. Then I started to become worried, so I went to find a member of the crew. The crewman forced the cabin door open, and when we managed to get inside... there was Kazuma, collapsed on the floor. And the white tape there now shows exactly where he was found, I suppose. I had no idea anything had happened. I must have been asleep in the wardrobe somehow. I wish it wasn't the case, but that's just very hard to believe. It's so very hard to believe for me too, trust me. Now I've told you everything that I know. So it's my turn to ask you a question. Yes, alright. My head feels heavy. It's still throbbing like anything. Why are you even on board this ship, Naruhiro-san? You said something about being a stowaway, didn't you? Yes, I'm afraid that's true. It's 2 weeks since we left Japan now, and I've been shut up in this cabin the entire time. I had no idea. But how could you have occupied Kazuma-sama's cabin for so long without him noticing? No. That would be impossible, obviously. Yes, of course. Kazuma invited me. He wanted us to go to England together. He actually asked you? But why? I'm afraid I don't really know the reason myself. I don't understand. Kazuma, why do you want to do this? What's the real reason? Why go to such extreme lengths to smuggle me to England with you? It's an idea that's been on my mind ever since the end of that incredible trial. I think I told you then, didn't I? That you ought to become a lawyer yourself. But yes, you did say that. But I didn't think you were serious. You have a talent for it. I can assure you of that. But I've never really thought about becoming a lawyer. Well, that's something you can decide for yourself. London is at the spearhead of cultural development, the centre of the world in many ways. There can't be any harm in seeing such an important place with your own eyes, can there? Well, no, definitely not. But on a personal level, if you were to become a lawyer, then what? Nothing. Forget it. Kazuma-sama's... He was always saying the same thing. That he wanted to change the Japanese legal system. Perhaps he thought that he could do that with you. Yes, maybe. But something's still bothering me a little. Oh. When you invite your best friend, here you go, partner. See, yeah, I know. You know, personal reasons he can't share. Look in his eyes then. It was darker than I'd ever seen it before. Susato-san, I'm sorry that we kept it a secret from you. My stowing away on this ship, I mean. If I know Kazuma-sama, I expect he was trying to protect me, to avoid me becoming guilty by association. That's exactly right. Perfectly. Yes. We're perfect, in fact. So you're not the culprit, then tell me. What happened last night here in this cabin? Susato-san, don't ask questions you're not ready to hear the answer to. Well, the thing is, I don't really remember. Kazuma brought me something to eat, just like he always did. And then I got myself into that wardrobe over there, just like I always did. After that, I fell asleep. Well, yes. So deeply that you didn't even stir when Kazuma-sama was killed. Well, yes. I know it sounds unbelievable, really I do, but it's the truth. If only I'd woken up, and perhaps I wouldn't be in this predicament. And for some reason, my head's still throbbing like anything. Really? Is something wrong? No, that's... Please forget it. Susato-san, you have to believe me, I didn't do it. Susato-san, you know that... you know fine well Naruhodo is a cold-blooded killer that will not want anyone to get away with the murder. I really don't want to doubt you. But the trouble is, there is no one else who could possibly have done this. Kazuma, I don't understand. Why? Why did this have to happen? I can't take this. Don't try to go anywhere. You're the perpetrator of this crime. You can't leave. I can't allow that to happen. I'm sorry, but Kazuma was killed right under my nose here. I didn't do anything to stop it. And now I'm supposed to just sit around. My hands tied while whoever did this walks free. No, I can't allow that to happen. Well, what do you propose to do then? I'm going to investigate. I'm going to find out exactly what happened here. I'm going to work out who took Kazuma's life and how and why they did it. I cannot get comfortable. I'm struggling through can't get comfortable. So I'm sorry, but you're going to have to excuse me. I don't know what you expected, Ryunosuke. Accidentally. She threw me so hard I opened the court record. What the? That was a Sato takedown. Round like a dog. Sato what? What short form is that? I'm going to need you to prove it. Sorry, prove it? Yes, your innocence. I need evidence. But how am I supposed to... Have you forgotten already? Have you achieved what you achieved just a few weeks ago? Why am I spending so much time getting accused of murder? You successfully defended yourself in a court of law. I see. She's expecting me to present some conclusive evidence. Would you like my badge? Alright, I need... can't play this with one controller. Because I'm sick this over to an order but it says keep out in Japanese. But I'm not sure the Russian crew can actually read it. You can see the remnants of glue. We used to stick this over the door. Although it wasn't proper glue, of course. You didn't have any of that with us. So I pulverized some rice into paste to use instead. But to a stowaway like me, every single grain of rice represents precious rations. That's why I spread it so as thin as possible. I possibly could. Couldn't bear to waste any. This is the paper sale I wrote for the wardrobe. I remember really working hard to make it. But I'll never forget how Kazuma reacted. Do you expect the Russian crew to be able to read that? He said. So, I was sure people would get the idea, even if they couldn't read it, so we used it anyway. And it worked. I didn't know if the crew thought it was creepy or what, but no one opened the doors. No, I got nothing, Susato, sorry. I have to get Susato-san to believe me. I'll show her some evidence right now that never mind, sorry Susato, I guess I'm guilty. Because I don't have any evidence to... I've got two options. I guess I'm guilty because neither of these prove my innocence.
Yes!
Tell me, when I was covered in the wardrobe before, was this piece of paper stuck over the doors? Oh, yes it was. I remember clearly. I thought so. Kazuma always puts it in place whenever I went to sleep in there. Just in case the cabin steward or another crew member decided to look inside. So naturally, he did the same last night as well. Huh? Yes, of course. The gentleman who discovered you peeled that sign from the ward door before he opened them. But if I were truly the culprit, I couldn't have climbed back inside the wardrobe and stuck this on the outside of the doors on my own. Yes, that's quite true. In other words, it's impossible that I killed Kazuma. Well, even if you are sprawled hopelessly on the floor, I can see why Kazuma-sama thought so highly of you. Thank you, Susato-san. Now, do you think perhaps you could help me up? Anyway, I forgot to ask how you are, Pineapple. I was a bit distracted by, you know, the murder. Don't know. Yeah, honestly, I think she might have thrown me onto the table. Well, in the light of that evidence, I don't see any reason why I should stop you from investigating in here at least. Thank you. So you finally believe me? I'm sorry, no. What? I'm not sure yet. I can't rule out the possibility that you used some sort of conjuring trick to put the sign back in position. Would you think I am a magician? Hey, nice. Free of meeting. For now, I suggest you investigate as thoroughly as possible in here. I'll do the same. Alright, let's get to work, Sato-san. Please don't misunderstand me. I still have my doubts. Oh. I shall be watching you to make sure you do nothing that might disturb the crime scene. I wouldn't want you to use your conjuring tricks to destroy evidence, for example. Right. Well, anyway, I should make a start investigating in here. Yep. Kazuma, I swear, I will avenge your death. best way to look around. Okay. This is... yes, it's a bell cord contraption, I think. What do you mean contraption? I read about it in a book I was studying that talked about life in Great Britain. Large households often have bell cords like this, which you can pull to ring a servant to which you can ring a bell to summon servants. Really? That sounds almost magical. Shall we give it a little try? Yes! In the interest of cultural research, obviously. I suppose nobody comes for lowly Japanese people. No, I'm sure it's just that everyone's busy, that's all. Damn, okay, racism on the ship. Oh dear, that won't do. Oh, what's the matter, Susato-san? Whenever I'm examining things, I always find myself so focused, I forget to look around properly. Yes, that's not good. I don't suppose you're as foolish as me in that regard, and are you, Naruhodo-san? Yeah, I know. Yeah, game, I worked that one out. Yes, I know. No, it hasn't, because I noticed that prompt immediately. How to look around. That thing you just did. Investigate thoroughly, but I can't find anything up, please. Then why does it... Oh, okay. There's only, like, one more sort of thing in this section. Thank God. Thank God. I think that's some kind of opening for a ventilator. A hole for which fresh air can circulate into the cabin. Isn't that a little odd? What do you mean? Well, this ventilator, if that's what it is, looks like it must connect to the next door cabin. Yes, it would appear to, you're right. But if its purpose is to allow fresh air into the room, surely it would be connected to the outside. Why? No more. Is the whole game just tutorials? That's true. Also, Pineapple, you're just speeding for the game now that you have it. Perhaps so the rain and spray don't find their way in when the seas are rough, or something like that. I suppose maybe that's it. We just finished this chapter last night. Alright. This is my home. It's some 2 weeks since we set sail from Japan. Have you really been living in that wardrobe the entire time, Naruhodo-san? I think living isn't quite the right description. Oh no, I suppose not. Although it must have been rather exciting, making this voyage in your own secret hideout. The trouble was, I never knew when a member of the crew might come in. I watched playthrough of fan translation splits in day, but yeah, that I figured remembering where the tutorials would be one of those things that didn't stand out after watching a fan translation. Because I knew you'd seen the fan translation, but I was like, if I'd watched fan translation, I wouldn't remember where the tutorials were. So yes, I did basically have to live in the wardrobe. Sorry. Trouble was, I never knew when I'm in. Yeah. And last night was no exception. But because of that, you had no idea what was happening out here in the cabin. No, sadly not. Oh, never mind, that's nothing. This is where Kazuma-sama would have sat whenever he was writing. Also, I was questioning things during break, I was basically implied. Poor Kazuma. He didn't even make get to his destination. It looks as though the last entry is incomplete. Which means, what, he was in the middle of writing it when the incident happened? Let's see what it says. It could be a valuable clue. That's out of the question. What? Kazuma-sama may have departed this world, but you must not read his private thoughts. But what if it's something important, something relevant to the case? Well, I don't remember now. I mean, just be sure to play ahead of me, and then watch me react. Right, alright, I won't read it. Poor Kazuma-sama. I don't like prying into people's personal matters either. But in this case, isn't the need for clues more important? Okay, so that's got to go. I want to investigate this, but I want to get this first. I'm sorry. Yeah. Good, that's why we have the no spoilers rule. The books have fallen over on the shelf. Look, they're all toppled the same way. And what's this? A statue of some god of the sea? Although he's fallen over as well. Yes, it's almost as if the whole shelf has been ransacked and everything mown down at once. I wonder if perhaps it was Kazuma-sama's doing his morning sword training, do you think? I seriously doubt it. Then perhaps it was you, Naruhodo-san, in a fit of rage? I wouldn't have bothered leaving the wardrobe just to mess up a few books and a statue. But the way these things have been thrown about have anything to do with the case, I wonder? Well, I'll just set everything straight again. I don't like to see a mess. Ma'am, stop destroying our crime scene. These are rules of passage for travelling abroad on the SS Burya. It's essentially a list of requests from the captain to all passengers on the boat. Passengers must not keep weapons or other dangerous objects in their cabins. Kazuma. Pets are also strictly forbidden. Kazuma. The captain did it for him breaking the 2 rules. What? Why are you staring at me? Oh, sorry, I was just thinking. Are you more of a dangerous object or a pet? Well, he had the sword, so I'll take pet. I can't decide. Well, one thing's for sure, either way, I wasn't supposed to be in here. Alright, let's take a look at the ink. Oh, never mind, we're looking at the travelling case, I guess. That's a very large travelling case, isn't it? Yes, it carries a lot of memories for me. Memories? What do you mean? Well, that's actually how I was stowed away on this vessel. I was brought on board inside the case. Ryunosuke pet play confirmed. Ah yes, I see it says this way up, in Japanese. Which in hindsight I should have realised a foreign crewman wouldn't be able to read. I was turned over and over and over, and then I was tossed on the floor in here. Oh dear. Being a stowaway isn't as romantic as it sounds. Well, it was less painful than a subtle takedown. Cool, not checking out the ink bottle then. Did Kazuma write that before he died? It looks like it's written in ink. He must have knocked the ink pot from the desk when he collapsed on the floor. Collapsed? Interesting word choice. Then I suppose he wrote the message by dipping his finger in the spillage. Poor Kazuma-sama. No doubt he was in terrible pain. It's almost unbearable to imagine it. I suppose he was trying to leave some kind of a clue in his final moments, wasn't he? I'm sorry, partner. But I can't read your writing. I skipped Russian. I don't think that's Japanese, Naruhodo-san. What? Then what language is it? It pains me to admit it, but I don't know. It's not a foreign script I'm familiar with. Doesn't mean I wonder. You can teleport? He can teleport? Teleport? Who's that? He wasn't there a minute ago. As far as I can tell, it looks like he might be European. No, he's just... Y'all know what I was about to say. Oh, how did he... You've noticed the man too, have you? I have no idea who he is or how he got in here, but he looks suspicious and tall. Suspiciously tall. Naruhodo-san, don't tell me. Do you really not know who that is? Well, no. I don't have any foreign friends or acquaintances at all. He doesn't look like a member of the crew. There's something very unusual about him. And is he investigating Kazuma's desk, or is he just playing on it? I can't tell. Well, in that case, we simply must talk with him. Am I just imagining it, or does Susato-san look almost uncontrollably excited? By the way, I expect that you've noticed already, but just in case. Susato, I don't know what that means. What? Press the what? In my what? Alright then, I'll get that suspiciously tall gentleman in my sights and see what he has to say for himself. Oh, please do. Oh, hey Snowman, thank you for the lurk. Anyway, ignoring that man. What do you think this is? It looks like a broken piece of glassware. Wherever the thing was, it appears to have broken clean in two. The glass is such a beautiful colour. It looks like a cute little Netscape fastener from a kimono outfit. I'm not sure that sounds like Kazuma. He wouldn't have secretly carried a cute little trinket like this around with him, would he? And the mark beside it. What is this, I wonder? It's sort of brick-like hue. Yes, you're right. It's the colour of brick, isn't it? Even though I don't see anything the same colour anywhere else in the cabin. I think it's funny, but it makes sense. But it's funny that his name is actually not, Sans. Well, I mean, that can make sense in, family line. The surname doesn't always carry on. Someone married into the right family. Or just straight up changed their name. That's Kazuma-sama's precious sword. He never went anywhere without it. Yes, he was always saying that a Japanese man's katana is his soul. I believe he had to work very hard to convince the government to allow him to bring it on the strip. I suppose that shows just how important it was to him. And now he's gone. But I'm not ready to let his spirit go just yet. Yeah, then move to Japan, America. Seigi, the Japanese word for justice. The brush strokes are straight and true, just like Kazuma. I mean, that's not how I'd describe him, but... Yes, his calligraphy always was a reflection of his hearts. Yet can you really look at those characters without feeling shame, knowing who drew them so thoughtfully? Of course I can. I mean, I'm innocent, so why shouldn't I be able to? Yeah, straight. Dealt. Even though you're stowed away on this ship. Now you're going to bring that up, are you? I can't win. He was an accomplice. He was an accomplice. That's my dinner from last night. A roast chicken. It was really tasty. Yes, it was very delicious, wasn't it? But did you eat it on the floor here? And dogs, Sato-san. I ate at the table, of course. Which begs the question of, when and how did the plate end up on the floor? But Kazuma-sama didn't like chicken at all, did he? No, that's right. So he didn't touch it. Which meant all the more for me. Oh no, does that mean where Kazuma-sama spent his last night on Earth with an empty belly? It's just too horrible. Now I suddenly have a guilty conscience and an achy stomach. As you should. There's nothing on this table. There's nothing on this table at all. The plate and cutlery are all over the floor for some reason. Yes, it's very strange. Last night when I went to sleep, I'm sure everything was still... No, wait a minute. What is it? That's funny. I can't seem to remember anything about what happened after dinner at all. So then you are responsible for what happened to Kazuma-sama. No. Yes. Serial killer. Perhaps I should see what the Russian crewman makes of the scene of the crime. Excuse me. What? I was wondering how it's going. The investigation, I mean. Grandmother told me Japanese people do not make jokes, but it is not true, I see. Sorry? The criminal asks the investigator for information about his crime. Very funny. Oh, it wasn't supposed to be a joke. He doesn't appear to be laughing either. He's convinced you're guilty. You may have useful information, though. I have to keep trying. So, last night, did you notice anything out of the ordinary at all? Yeah, of course not. No, Now back to the corner of the room and make silence. Okay. I say no more to you. Did I hit a nerve? Just for a minute there, he seemed a little flustered. When I went for help and the crewman forced the door open, the bolt had been firmly closed. It's quite a small bolt and not particularly sturdy, and it just slides across to secure the door shut. But still, with the door bolted, there would be no way to get in or out of the cabin, that's for sure. It's no wonder everyone suspects me. When she glares at me like that, I feel tense all up and down my spine. I remember reading once in a detective novel, the culprit used a needle and thread to draw a bolt across the outside of the room in a situation like... across from the outside of the room in a situation like this. Yes, that's a clever trick, isn't it? I'm an avid reader of detective stories myself. But the doors to this cabinet's frame are made of metal, and they seal together perfectly. There would be no possibility of using that needle and thread trick here, I'm afraid. When she glares at me like that, I feel pins and needles all up and down my spine. I'm going to have to give him attention, aren't I? Excuse me? Excuse me, do you have a moment? Shh. This is a critical point in the investigation. Maybe I should leave him alone. Maybe I should leave him alone. He seems a little unfriendly. Yes, perhaps that would be for the best. Greetings, I hope I haven't kept you long. What exactly were you doing on Kazuma's desk just now? Huh? Ah, I see. Fascinating. Sorry? What do you see? I feel like he's looking right through me. Oh yes, everything is clear now. The train of reasoning has run its course. My deductions have crystallized. You have been in Afghanistan, I perceive. Just recently turned, if I'm not mistaken. Sorry? What? And now, whilst venturing towards foreign climes, you find yourself in a most troubling predicament. Oh, well, that's true at least. But how? How did I know that? Perhaps. It was really a most elementary deduction, hardly worth explaining. Have you perhaps managed to deduce anything else? But of course, a great many things. There is no mystery, my dear madam, for example. You have fled your native land of Russia, being, as you are, a merciless revolutionary. You leave 16 victims of assassination in your wake, and now travel to England to blow up the Crystal Tower. And, when the beribboned occupant of this very cabin discovered your identity, you ended his life too. Yes, I believe that summarises the facts beautifully. No need to hide the truth now, nothing deceives these eyes. We gotta run. He knows too much. Just to be clear, you are talking about me, are you? Certainly I am. Do you see another in this cabin who fits the bill? A Russian assassin with 16 victims to his name? I don't even see one person who fits the bill. So it's true. This man is an idiot. It was you who did this, Kazuma-sama. What? And you're plotting a revolution too. It's shameful behaviour, Naruhodo-san. Absolutely wicked. No, listen, there's no way Please stop putting me on the table. Now explain yourself. Tell me everything. This is ridiculous. How could you do it? For pity's sake, open your eyes. I'm not a Russian revolutionary, obviously. Oh, forgive me. And as for you, what kind of deduction was that? You were just saying the first thing that came into your head. Ah, but was I not right? Whilst venturing again towards foreign climes, you do find yourself in a most troubling predicament, do you not? Well, yes, maybe. Ah, there you have it. You see? What do you make of that, Well, to be honest, this ship is en route to England and I'm in handcuffs at the scene of a murder. So, I'm not really sure you could call it deduction. It's more plain observation. Indeed, and observation, my dear boy, is the basis of all deduction. My methods is founded upon the observation of trifles you see, I announce my findings with a brass certitude, and more often than not, I'm right. Huh. I don't think you introduced yourself. Ah, my apologies. How remiss of me. I am none other than the greatest detective of the century, known to men and women the world over. Then, the inimitable Sherlock Holmes. So it's really you, the actual Sherlock Holmes, from LeBlanc's series. The very same, the inimitable actual Sherlock Holmes. Do you know this man, Susatata? The most famous detective in the world? Naruhodo-san, of course I do. There's nobody who hasn't heard of him. What planet have I been living on then? You must ask him what he's deduced. He'll have worked out the entire case already, I'm sure. Really? Why do I feel uneasy about this? Mr. Sholmes? So, you're a great detective, are you? Sorry, what was your name again? Indeed, I am none other than the one and only Sherlock Holmes. Oh, I see, you're German. Sherlock, was it? No, I have no hair. I have hair. Please call me Holmes. You can read all about my exploits in this exciting London publication. The Rantst? Oh yes, Rantst magazine, full of wonderful short stories and interesting articles from Great Britain. I never miss an issue. I have it sent from England especially. Yes, here it is. The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes. So, you're the protagonist in a series of short stories then? Indeed I am. And you've read so many of your own stories, you're starting to think you really are a detective. Make no mistake, I'm not the poor deluded fellow you take me for. Your inference is backward. Backward? My trusted biographer records my greatest detecting achievements and chronicles them in the magazine. You have a biographer, do you? Doesn't everyone? Mine goes by the name of Dr. Wilson, presently keeping shop in London. Dr. Wilson? I must say, thanks to that publication, I've been fantastically busy of late. Why, this very moment, I am returning from Asia, having solved the mystery of the cursed royal crown. Really? I can't work out whether I should take this man seriously or not. Deduction, you see, is to me a science. Logical reasoning is in its purest form. A science? Really? The astute observer notices even the most subtle of reactions in his subject. Or fear to glance, a twitch of the muscle, a slight inclination of the posture, fingernails, arm sleeves, furrows in the skin, all these things are data. Right. And the trained logician makes deductions from this data in the blink of an eye. The ultimate conclusion is, without fail, the truth. As I demonstrated only a few short moments ago. How can he look me in the eye and claim that? So you see, I have a turn both for observation and for deduction and fame. That is what makes me the one and only Sherlock Holmes. Have you managed to deduce anything about this particular case yet? Have I managed to deduce anything, my dear fellow? Who do you suppose discovered the culprit in his most cunning hiding place? That's right. It was none other than the great detective before you now, Mr. Sherlock Holmes. I see. In other words, I'm in these now because of him. When I became anxious about Kazuma-sama this morning, I summoned all the crew members to force the cabin door open. And I concealed myself among their numbers, gaining entry to the scene of the crime. Yes, luckily for everyone, the great detective Sherlock Holmes was on board. And the handcuffs seem to be an excellent fit, Mr. Naruhodo. The very moment I laid eyes on the scene, two facts were immediately apparent to me. Oh, really? Two facts, you say? Mr. Holmes, tell us, please. What two facts were apparent to you when you came into this cabin this morning? Ah, yes. But first, let's be precise. The two facts in question were immediately apparent to me. Yes, I understand. What were they? Allow me to elucidate. The two facts that I deduced from a mere momentary glance to the scene of this crime were as follows. Number 1. The cabin was locked from within, rendering escape for the culprit out of the question. Can we get a new one? Like, I know Goro faked all his detectiving, but I think he might be. Number 2, the victim was Russian and killed following a dispute with an acquaintance. Hold on, Mr. Holmes, what makes you think the victim was Russian? Observe the dying message left by the victim on the floor. I can't read Russian. That is the Russian word for wardrobe. Do you really think Kazuma-sama could have left a dying message in Russian? In their final moments, many find their native tongue filling their head. For this young man, Russian. Kazuma was Russian, was he? Yeah, definitely. Initially, I considered Garderobe might be the name of the killer. Certain Robert Guard, perhaps. But in the interest of thoroughness, I decided it may be wrong not to look for the wardrobe there at least. Where you found Mr. Naruhodo sleeping soundly. Yeah, no, definitely Russian. Quite so. I found you, the renowned Russian revolutionary killer. I'm renowned now? Why is it that I'm Russian too? I think we may have been sailing from Russia. I observed that you were wearing the same attire as the victim. In other words, you were acquainted. And if my memory serves, that outfit is the traditional dress of the Russian people. Are school uniforms the traditional dress of the Russian people? I had no idea. And I had no idea a detective could get something so wrong. I took a photograph of the victim and the message, that I might analyse it for possible hidden details. This was taken immediately after the young man was discovered, before the body was removed. Yes, Kazuma had already been taken away when I woke up. This is the first time we've actually seen him like this. Are you alright, Mr. Naruhodo? Oh, yes, thank you. Crime sentence entered. Okay. 20. doing his my throat slowly starts to kill me. Can I ask you something, Mr. Sholmes? What, pray? You mentioned Russia before as well, didn't you? You know, when you said I was a fearsome revolutionary fleeing from Russia and all that. Ah yes, the train of reasoning that led me to the truth. Would you mind explaining that train of reasoning to me, do you think? Certainly, if it interests you. How many times I'm not Russian? I don't speak Russian. Can we talk about your deduction for it? The things you concluded about me, I mean. Ah, the now famously accurate troubling predicament you find yourself in. Actually, it was the other detail that I was more hoping to discuss. You know, the merciless Russian revolutionary and Assassin of 16 part. Ah, yes, the more sordid details. It was fairly commonplace deduction. Here we have this morning paper. The main headline reads: Revolutionary villain Bolshevik flees Russia via Shanghai. This vessel made a port call at Shanghai yesterday, and last night the young Russian was murdered. Since when was Kazuma Russian? Have you already forgotten Kazuma's Russian? It sounds like Mr. Sholmes has concluded he was Russian because of what Kazuma-sama wrote on the floor. It was a simple act of reasoning to realise that the culprit of this crime was the same merciless revolutionary. One would kill the very man who helped him to escape after his true identity was discovered. Yes, you villain Bolshevik. No, how could it be me? I don't think anything like this, man. Just look at my face. Well, you are a fearsome revolutionary after all. Therefore, you have no doubt learnt to revolutionise your appearance as well. Please. And, I might add, your name does not appear on the ship's passenger list. Did I say more? Well, that's because I'm a stowaway. What about the other details? The 16 victims of assassination and blowing up the Crystal Tower? Ah yes, the journalist clearly interviewed the man and printed all those particulars in the article. The deeds the man had perpetrated thus far and those he was plotting. Yes, everything about the revolutionary Bolshevik was included. There can be no mistakes. Very brave journalist. Do revolutionaries usually agree to interviews with newspaper reporters, I wonder? And what about the part where he said I was just returning from Afghanistan? Also quite clearly stated here in the article. Bolshevik is recently returned after a period of subversive acts in a war-torn region of Afghanistan. Where even is it anyway? This Afghanistan place. Here, take the paper for yourself, as a little memento of this great deduction. Oh, thank you. I've absorbed all that is of interest to me within its pages, but I see no rubbish bin nearby. Thank you. And you may find the article on the back page of interest as well. I'm sure I will. This is interesting. Have you found something relevant, Naruhodo-sama? Well, no, I mean it looks like it might be interesting. I can't read a single word, I'm afraid. No, nor can I. But look at this picture. Perhaps it's about a beautiful young Russian princess, do you think? She is very pretty, isn't she? I suppose you enjoy articles like this, do you? I don't know, I can't make any sense of it. Ah, I am glad you've noticed this article. Allow me to give a short summary of its contents. Can you read Russian? Because I don't trust you. Oh, yes, of course they are. Of course they are, Pineapple. My cutie pops everywhere, Mr. Sholmes. It's about the disappearance of a young lady last night. renowned prima ballerina of the Novovic Ballet, disappears from Shanghai. During a performance in Shanghai, the famous dancer was reported missing. She is, of course, the talented young Nikolina Pavlova. Why are Russian names so hard to remember? It would appear the woman was in costume when she was found to be missing from her dressing room, wearing the diamond tiara you see pictured, which is worth some 20,000 rubles. Oh, how much is 20,000 rubles? I have no idea, but I'm quite sure it must be an unbelievable sum of money. Sato-san's eyes are shining like diamonds themselves. The tiara is property of Novovic Ballet. It would seem the director is beside herself with worry. Yes, I'm not surprised. The company is most anxious to recover more. Both Miss Pavlova and the valuable tiara. They've requested international assistance at all ports with sailing to Great Britain. Was a pineapple? He can just claim for, what the hard-working journalist did. Could this be another case of a Russian fleeing their country? It does seem to be the Russian thing to do. I'm not quite going to dignify that response, Mr. Haruhodo. Okay, so that's all for this side. Can we get any... Yeah, we can get some more information on the revolutionary. I'm afraid I can't read a word of Russian. Nope, mine neither. I have no idea what any of this says. The pair of you floundering is a sorry sight. Allow me to offer some assistance. The article on the front page of this newspaper is concerned with fearsome Russian revolutionary. In the front gives you the newspaper and then it's like, you should read this if you get a chance, and then reads it to you. Yeah. Realises he's handed this to a Russian that can't read Russian. Yeah, she told us that before. It reveals also that those who see the man's beard with their own eyes never live to tell the tale. Oh my goodness, he is fearsome. Well, presumably the newspaper photographer was alright, wasn't he? The solution is obvious, of course. If he despises his beard to that degree, he need only shave it off. I'm not quite sure that's the problem, Mr. Sholmes. Mia. On the back, cast your eyes so for some time if the interest takes you, though you may need someone to interpret. It's all written in Russian. I couldn't help to read it, but I suppose it wouldn't hurt just to glance at the article, maybe the picture or two. Before we started talking, you were examining Kazuma's desk, weren't you? Kazuma? Yes, the victim. Did you notice anything useful? Anything at all? Observe for a moment the desktop of the victim. We see that the victim is engaged in penning some text. London diary. Kazuma was keeping notes of the trip. But I don't think you should read his private writing. It could upset people. Tragic. And something you ought to perhaps elucidate before the act of reading. You mean you've read it already? It is my business to know what other people do not. Yes, believe it or not, I know a smattering of Japanese. Okay, so we can establish we're speaking English right now. Oh, I see. Well, you're about to know what a Sato takedown is. Sato-san? Aren't you going to throw the detective with one of your trademark takedowns? I'm sorry, Naruhodo-san. What on earth do you mean? Life is so unfair. Anyway, to return the matter at hand, namely, this diary belonged to the victim. Very strange Russian he spoke. It would appear the final sentence is incomplete, as if the offer were cut short. Tell me, what is the nature of the writing? Pray be precise as to details. Oh, but I thought you knew Japanese. A smattering, dear boy, smattering. Sayonara, bonsai, kaido, nado nado. I trust you're suitably impressed. Wow, your Japanese is so good. Wow. But this diary is littered with complicated looking characters, of which I can read precisely none. So, what was all that showing off about before then? If you would be so kind as to show me, I would be happy to read it to you, Mr. Sholmes. Nihongo Juzo. Yeah, exactly, pineapple. I'm much obliged, my dear madame. The final entry here is Kazuma-sama's diary. It consists of 2 short sentences. The first reads, 1:23 AM. I can hear a faint whistling sound. A whistling sound? These are very deep waters. Pray go on. The second sentence reads, 1:35 AM. What looks like some sort of speckled band is dangling from the ventilator grill. A speckled band? What on earth does that mean? I have no idea. I've never heard that expression before. The ventilator grill, you say. The man was presumably referring to the lattice there on the wall, which connects to the adjoining cabin. Yes, the adjoining cabin. So, I believe I've given you everything to consider for the time being at least? You don't want me to present evidence to you? Do you have somewhere to go? As it happens, the victim's writing in his diary have piqued my interest. The matter warrants further investigation, I believe, and if I'm still too long, the seed sickness takes hold. Oh, I suppose you're thinking of investigating the cabin next door, which the ventilator grill connects to. Great detectives are a curious breed. Our minds rebel at stagnation. They crave mental exaltation. Jesus Christ. So yes, I intend to investigate. Hence, truth will become clear soon enough. Do you think perhaps that we could go with you? No, that would be somewhat complicated. Why? A simple glance at your risks should reveal the answer. Oh, these. After all, you're the prime suspect in this matter. No? There's no point trying to turn it into a question. You're the one who decided I was a culprit in the first place. Whatever do you mean? I have no recollection of naming you as the culprit at any point. You must be joking. You just said it a moment ago. Dear me, you're clearly misguided. I would have no cause to say such a thing. Well, actually, Mr. Sholmes, I did hear you say that too. You're quite sure? Well, that's very strange. I wouldn't have said you had the face of a criminal, you know? Not really. So what, you were looking at my knees before? What some great detective you are! Well, anyway, that was then and this is now. What do you mean? What I mean, sir, is this. If you're the culprit, then you must play the parts more convincingly. Roll over and accept your fate. Now he's just being plain rude. And off he goes, having just laughed in my face. His sense of humour is as twisted as his name. Naruhodo-san. Oh, oh. What are you just standing there for? You must go and investigate the cam next door as well. Aren't you forgetting something? What about these? There's no way I can... After Kazuma-sama spent his dying moments struggling to leave us a clue, you're willing to give up. You're just going to roll over and accept your fate? As if you've given me any choice in the rolling over part. I think we still have some investigation to finish off in here, don't we? Let's carry on examining what we can in this cabin while we find chances up next door. Good idea. The situation doesn't look good for me, but there are still things I can do to help myself. I owe it to Kazuma to do everything I can to find a way out of this, and bring the real culprit to justice. Is something wrong, Naruhodo-san? Oh, no, it's just a crewman standing by the door. I can't help feeling I've seen him somewhere before. Oh, yes, you're right. He does look familiar. Excuse me, sir. Yes, what can I do for you? Detective. I recognise that face, but it can't be. Sir, you really need to... I didn't know you were here, Inspector Hosonaga. Don't wipe it on your sleeve. Hello again. What are you doing here? Recognised by his tuberculosis? Yeah. I think that should be my line. I was so stunned when I saw you, my heart stopped. Well, I'm doing murder again. Nearly stopped, I hope. I have placed some special orders to go undercover as a member of the crew and board this ship. Great question. I feel this man can survive on raw energy. I feel the tuberculosis should have claimed him years ago, but he's just not stopped. Again? You certainly seem to enjoy undercover work, Inspector. If there's anything I can do to help you, please ask. I never expect to see this man on board. Yeah, exactly. But perhaps his presence can help me out of this hopeless situation. Alright, I'm going to be RB for a moment because my throat's starting to get raw again. And I'll be back, hopefully with something to make that less so. Okay, I return. I have, I tried looking for like lozenges or hard-boiled sweets or anything, and all I could find was frozen grapes. Yeah, I know. Well, yeah. Grapes. Like the fruit. Like, Mitsuzane. Inspector, can I show you this? What is... Is that a fabled Imperial University pin badge? I'm not sure if it's really fabled exactly, but... So, you are a genuine student, then? Sorry? Nothing like me, with my regular schooling. There's something much greater. Is that what you're trying to say? Can I have my badge back, please? Ah, this paper seal is stuck over the wardrobe doors this morning, isn't it? I'm so sorry, I hit the wrong mute. That's right, I'm trying to stop the cabin steward opening it up and discovering me. Wouldn't it have been better to write it in English if you didn't know Russian? Maybe, but overall, perhaps it's like this or a part of our culture, Inspector. And I thought it made it look creepy enough. People would be too scared to want to look inside. It isn't easy being a stowaway, is it? Have you seen this photograph yet, Inspector? Yes, same, Hosonaga, same. Oh dear, are you alright, Inspector? Yes. Sorry, I'm fine. I was hoping to hide my upset with a fit of coughing and spluttering. I'm usually very good at it. But trying to stifle my feelings seems to have stifled my cough this time. So sad. Asogi-san was a promising young man. The Empire had such high hopes for him. And I had such high hopes for him, even though I'm just a detective. We're all going to miss you, Kazuma. Can I show you this newspaper, Inspector? I'm sorry, but I can't read Russian very well. Oh, no, that's alright. I know what it says. So you just want to point out your university level linguistics talent, is that it? Sorry? Nothing like me with my regular schooling, you're trying What's that? It's Kazuma's diary. Just before he died, Kazuma-sama wrote something really rather strange in his diary. Strange? In what way? He wrote what looks like some kind of speckled band is dangling from the ventilator grill. A speckled band? That is strange. Yes, we're still trying to work out what he meant by that. But what I'd like to know is... Don't tell me, the ventilator, is it? You're very stupid, Inspector. Unlike that detective. That ventilator clearly joins the next door cabin. That's right, so if we could investigate in there, we might be able to work out what the speckled band was. Alright then. I can't leave this cabin at the moment. I'm stuck here until we arrive at the next port. The captain's given me strict orders to guard the scene of the crime, you see. I'll have to entrust the investigation to you. I mean, good point. He wouldn't even know, so I can do it fairly. Really? You're willing to do that? Yes. As long as you don't leave the first class cabin area, I'm afraid I can't remove those handcuffs though. But... What about the captain? Aren't you going against his direct orders? I'm a man of my word. And I promise you that I'll lay my life on the line, if that's what it takes to convince the captain. Please don't. After all, I failed to keep Asogi-san safe. This is the least I can do. Let's seize the moment then, Naruhodo-san. Yes, I know how to move. Yes, you just put your feet one in front of the other. Left foot, then right foot, then left... Oh, no, that's your right again. Okay, maybe we'll do this a bit more slowly. So what are your special orders this time, Inspector? Yes, and why are you dressed like a member of the crew? I'm so sorry. This is all my fault. I take full responsibility. For what? My orders were to act as Sogi-san's bodyguard. It was Minister of Justice Jigoku who pushed for this overseas study tour to go ahead. And he entrusted me with ensuring that Sogi-san reached Great Britain without being assassinated. Assassinated? How could that even have been a possibility? I'm not sure. But these are complicated times. There are terror, tensions between the world's greatest powers. Mr. Jigoku said we should be prepared for all eventualities. This is incredible. I don't believe it. Kazuma-sama was assassinated? Obviously, we can't give Asogi-san a fair, visible security escort. Which is why I'm undercover now, posing as one of the crew. I see. And I didn't take my eyes off from the entire time we've been aboard, from morning until night, every day. But I never imagined it would happen here. Inside his own cabin, not here on the first class deck. I failed miserably at my assignment, and Asogi-san is dead as a result. I'm a disgrace. All I can do is humbly apologise. Inspector. So if there's anything at all I can do to help now, just say the word. I'm peeling grapes. I can't leave this cabin at the moment. I'm stuck here until we arrive at the next port. The captain has given me strict orders to guard the scene of crime, you see. I'll have to entrust the investigation to you. Really? You're willing to do that? Yes. Oh, we've established this. What can't... Yeah. Okay. Wait. Yes, we know. Yes, I... Wow. Good. Wow, I didn't... That's an interesting feature. Do you want to play the game as a movie? Yeah, I'm finally out the cabin. I have to admit, this isn't quite what I was expecting. It's less spacious out here than I thought it would be, in this most luxurious accommodation. Yes, indeed. Kazuma-sama has been sent out on his study tour by the government. That's why he was being put up in a first-class cabin. Even still, this is about twice as large as my accommodation and steerage. Really? That must be awful. Oh, look over there. That's an archaic roommate to keep him watch. He looks enormous, even if he is sitting down. The door next to him leads to second-class accommodation. I'm sure he's making... I suppose he's making sure that no one comes in here who shouldn't. I suppose, like people in handcuffs. Naruhodo-san, you look like a little boy visiting a toy shop for the first time. I would have thought you'd be used to a ship by now. We've been at sea for 2 weeks already. Well, yes, I know, but the thing is, I was inside Kazuma's trunk when I first came aboard. Oh, that's... And ever since then, I've been shut up inside that little wardrobe. It must have been a very trying time for you. Please, don't give me that petty look. Wait, give me a second while I switch Joy-Cons. Okay, now have Joy-Cons. Ah, a trap for catching mice. Yes, we have plenty of those back in Japan. Although they seem to have used a lump of chalk or something as bait. Let me see. Yes, I think that's what it's called, cheese. It's made from milk of cows. Cheese? I wonder what that tastes like. You can't eat it, Naruhodo-san. The trap will snap shut on your fingers. Really? But I suppose you're right. You weren't actually going to try it, were you? All I had to eat for the past couple of weeks were Kazuma's leftovers and also chicken which he didn't like. I don't know how hungry I've been. You don't know how hungry I've been in that wardrobe. Poor you. I'll find a little snack for you later. Like the tasty cheese? Ryunosuke won't barrel for absolutely any food. Come on. There we go. What do you think this is? It's a very pleasing shape, isn't it? That's an emergency alarm. It's probably best not to touch it. Oh, an alarm. It says press only in times of emergency. It looks as though it sets alarm bells ringing all over the ship and brings the vessel to a complete stop. You mustn't touch it. But this is an emergency situation, just look at these handcuffs. You know full well that's not what the alarm is for. If you were to bring this vessel to a standstill for no good reason, you'd be in an even worse situation. I wish everything would just stop, the ship included. If you have to do something foolish, at least make it something that won't affect anyone else. I'm starting to get an art to this de-skinning of grapes. This looks like a plan for the SS Buria, and it shows each deck. Look. The Buria is a large-scale steamship with multiple skinned hull, with a triple skinned hull. What a marvel of engineering. Well, it's been playing in my line for a while now, actually, but how is it that such a huge lump of metal doesn't sink to the bottom of the ocean? Oh, that's really quite simple, Naruhodo-san. It is? Well, consider the Japanese archipelago. The islands of Japan? Yes, they're not metal, but they are enormous blocks of air, many, many times larger than a ship. And they don't sink, do they? They've been floating happily in the sea since the gods created them. Well, I suppose so. That's a huge book on top of the table there, and there's a pen next to it. Yes, that looks like the ship's log. Shall we have a little look through it? The writing is so neat, precise. Every detail about the voice has been meticulously recorded. And yet, great explanation. I kind of expected her to explain a bit more thoroughly. You wouldn't expect a rough and ready sailor to have such beautiful handwriting. And nothing, no reaction at all. I thought you might appreciate the compliment. I'm not sure that rough and ready is much of a compliment, Naruhodo-san, even to a sailor. Anyway, last night's log is mostly blank. Presumably that means there was nothing to report. That's the way to the second-class area ship. Is something wrong? I was thinking about making a run for it, just for a moment. Things aren't exactly going well for me. I might be wrong, but I imagine the moment you reach for the handle of the door, that burly seaman would surely shoot you dead. Oh dear, I'm sorry. Perhaps I went a little too far there. No, I started out with my talk of running away. And there's no way I could run away if Wildcastle was dead for me. It's a mystery anyway. Excuse me, but could I ask you something? You little stowaway murderer. That wasn't a good start, was it? Alright, let me try instead. Good day, Miss Sailor. I'm so sorry to trouble you. Could I perhaps ask something of you? You little first-class lady's maid. Oh. You seem to have caught the sailor on a bad day, Satha. I'm not Sailor. My mother gave me a name. I'm Sailor Crewman Biff Stroganoff. You. Did you have to ask your mother to give you a bear? The best thing is just to avoid eye contact, I think. Mr. Stroganoff, about the first-class cabin area. Here we are in the finest part of Buria steamship, for very important persons. What sort of very important persons? Government officials, kings and queens, travelling in secret, many important persons. This is why I am always guarding this place. Gosh, that's amazing. But somehow I let stupid stowaway inside. I went to pick you up and throw you in the ocean, but Stroganoff is not animal. Thank you. If I may, I was wondering, is the cabin next to Mr. Sogi's currently occupied? Duh. Sasatha-san, do you understand that? It sounded like duh. I think it's probably Russian for yes. Or no. Genius. It is not permitted to visit other cabins without invitation. Well, it sounds like there is someone in the next door cabin at least. Yes, it's tantalizing. Are you on watch here all the time, Seaman Stroganoff? Duh, all the time. So criminals like you cannot come in or get out. I wonder, could you tell us anything about last night at all? It is sad, but student boy. Were you on watch last night as well? Of course. It I mean, it kills me too. And did you notice anything at the time? Anything unusual? Yet. Sat-san, did you understand that? It was clearly a no. I see nothing unusual, nothing at all. And you didn't hear any strange noises? Or sense anything wrong in some way? I said no. Sorry. I'm not so sure. I could have sworn that he wouldn't catch my eye for a moment there. Could you tell us who's travelling in the cabin next to Mr. Sogies? His name is Mr. Grimsey Roylott. He is a very important Western gentleman. A Western gentleman. Do not think about it. He has nothing to do with murder of student boy. How can you be so sure about that? Mr. Roylott is authentic Western gentleman. Such a man would have no interest in lowly student from insignificant Far East Island. That was harsh. Could you tell us when Mr. Roylott came aboard? That is not your business. Come to think of it, even though we've been at sea for 2 weeks now, and I've been in Kazma's cabin the entire time, I've never once heard anything from the next door cabin, or even felt like there was anyone there. Well, presumably, since this gentleman is occupying one of the first-class cabins, he must be rather important, is that right? That's not your business. This is enough. I cannot say more now. Oh. It is time for me to report to Captain. You must return to cabin. Yes, alright. Bulkhead's second-class area is staying locked at all times. You escape when the lobster whistles on top of the mountain, or as the English say, when the pigs fly. Yes, I understand. Good. Now we can investigate the area properly, shall we? Definitely. I guess not by doing that. I guess like this. This is it. This is the cabin next to ours, the one with the ventilator connects to. Yes, the ventilator from which Kazuma-sama wrote that he saw a speckled band emerging. Maybe whoever's in the cabin can help solve that particular mystery. Let's ask. No answer. We're out of luck, it seems. There's no one in there to help with our inquiries. How annoying. What was that? Came from inside the cabin. Such a high-pitched scream. It must have been a woman. Stand aside. I'm about to break the door down. Mr. Sholmes! I shan't be stopped. When the fit is on me, I revel in kicking doors down off their. I revel in kicking doors off their hinges. Please, wait, Mr. Sholmes. The door doesn't appear to be bolted. It doesn't. Then how the juices can I dispatch my muscular urge? What, pray, can I kick? I think we should go in, and there's no time to think about stress relief. Who are you? A Western gentleman? This man looks Russian to me. Ken's hairlock mood. We all hairlock Kenny's in the chat. We heard a woman scream. A woman? Don't be absurd. As you can see, there's nobody but me in this cabin. True, this Oma and does appear to be the only person in here. But in that case, who just screamed? Get out, all of you, now! Please excuse the intrusion. You're Mr. Grimsey Roylott, I believe. Yes, that's me, and you're? I'm the one and only, the actual Sherlock Sholmes. You've heard of me, no doubt? No. I am a great detective among great detectives, one who adorns the cover of popular magazines, no less. So I assure you, you might trust me completely. The man uses that magazine like a business card. A detective? I do not trust detectives. We distinctly heard a scream emanating from within these walls. But there wouldn't appear to be a lady concealing herself from the wardrobe this time. So might I be so bold to ask to open that small travelling case? What? Don't be stupid! How could anyone fit in a small trunk like that? Well, it's quite fashionable these days, is it not? Travelling inside one's trunk. Don't look at me. Oh, my! Did you see that, Mr. Naruhodo? Yes, the case just shook. Leave, now! Otherwise, I'll call the stewards. So this is Kazuma's neighbour, Mr. Grimsby Roylott. There's no doubt about it. The strange Russian man is hiding something. I couldn't agree more. Let's see if we can find some clues before this burly sailor returns. Can we help you, Herlock? I'll go over here. What do you think you're doing? This is my cabin. Get out. Could we just have a quick look inside your travelling case, perhaps? No. What a pity. I think we're out of luck. I think you're right. Are you going to keep Herlock? That's fine if you are. There doesn't appear to be anything more we can do. I agree, but there must be someone else who can help. Perhaps that great detective can get us somewhere with Mr. Roylott? I don't know, he appears to be moping. Herlock. Do you have a moment, please, Mr. Sholmes? You need only address me as Sholmes. That's what I just did, wasn't it? Oh, well, Mr. Sholmes, what were you doing in there? Why, I was resting, of course. Resting? Indeed, I was contemplating our sea voyage from the confines of the wardrobe whilst waiting for the inevitable time that you would need to call my great powers of detection into service. Oh! And it would seem that that hour is upon us now. The time has come. Am I mistaken? Well, no, actually, you're spot on, for once. Observe closely. Our Russian host in this cabin, Mr. Roylott, is clearly trying to hide something. And do you know what the most effective weapon to use against a Russian hiding a secret? Why? The truth, of course. No, it should be pointed out that such methods are not exclusively for the Russians. Right. Can you imagine how the Russian would react when the secret he guards so closely is exposed? Would you like to witness it? Oh yes, please. Well then, what you're about to see may well astound you. For I am about to apply my great detective's greatly admired great deduction to the case. Could this man be a more hackneyed portrayal of a dubious Russian, I ask you? What? From time to time it occurs to me. Is the fellow dubious on account of his Russianness, or Russian on account of his dubiousness? I rolled to hit Sholmes. I really don't think either of those things should be occurring to you, or anyone. That's right, and Mr. Sholmes, I know this man's beard and dark glasses are hard to ignore, especially in first meeting, but I once read, it is a capital mistake to theorize before you have all the evidence. It biases the judgment. I must have complete silence. What are you doing? Why are you peering at my face like that? Ah, just as I thought. Yes, I've quite made up my mind now. There can be no other explanation that accommodates all the facts. Mr. Roylott, I have reached two incontrovertible conclusions. What do you mean? Number one, your true identity is that of a villain. Using those shears, you were about to end the existence of something most dear. Are you not? And number two, the conclusion I have drawn. You are, at this very moment no less, in the midst of committing a most grievous crime. Beneath that beard, your mouth quivers with nervous tension as you realise you have been discovered. Does it not? Oh, Naruhodo-san, I never imagined I could witness one of Mr. Sholmes' great deductions with my own eyes. That was a great deduction? Nothing can deceive Mr. Sholmes. In a second glance, he can deduce all there is to know about a person. What ineffable twaddle! Oh yes, I've read about it countless times in the adventures of Sherlock Sholmes, and now I've experienced the astonishing impact of his great deduction firsthand. This is like a dream come true. I can hardly believe it, but all the colour is drained from Mr. Roylott's face. Looks like somehow both of Mr. Sholmes' conclusions were right. How could I possibly know such things? You have wish to say? Very well then. I shall elucidate. I shall explain how it is that I arrived at this pair of conclusions. So, do I cordially invite you upon a journey of logical discovery? Let us board the train of reasoning. Put plainly, let us work for the deductions together. Okay, so this is a new thing. At least I don't mind getting a tutorial for this one. So, the dubious looking Russian, Mr. Roylott, obviously what catches your eye in the first place? Is an enormous pair of shears in your hand. Now we ask ourselves, what could possibly want such an implement? The answer, of course, is staring us right in the face. You are on the verge of using the shears to cut away the copious beard you sport. Now, moving on. The question that begs is this: why would you desire to rid yourself of this magnificent beard, Mr. Roylott? Once again, the answer is plain. You have clear evidence to shed light on the matter. Regard, if you will, this morning's newspaper, in particular the fascinating front page article, which it would appear you have read also, Mr. Roylott. I'm sure it needs no further clarification. The evidence that reveals your true identity is the article about the revolutionary. In translation, the headline reads, Revolutionary Villain Bolshevik flees Russia via Shanghai. As you cannot fail to observe, the subject of the article possesses an extremely copious beard. Having noted the article yourself, you decided to remove your incriminating facial hair before it gave you away. In short, your true identity is beyond doubt. You are the fearsome Russian revolutionary himself, Villain Bolshevik. Not that I've heard of you myself, you understand. Now, as for my second conclusion, you are, at this very moment, on the brink of committing a most grievous crime. And the proof of this crime? Over there. Oh yes, Mr. Roylott. Taken unawares, people will have a propensity to let their eyes stray, you see. And I assure you, your eyes speak so much more eloquently and honestly than the mouth. The answer we seek lies where the furtive glances fall. The proof of your crime sits before your very eyes. Yes, the travelling case. It is time, I think, that the case be opened and its contents laid bare. No, I refuse. What could you possibly be concealing inside, we ask? By my estimation, a young lady, perhaps? One slight enough to fit therein. Don't be absurd! And what, pray, would be the identity of this young lady in the travelling case? Dear me, we are not well suited for a life of crime, are we? Your careless coup de well, betrays you. Why, once again, we need to only follow your furtive glances to find the answer. Yes, the reason you refused to open the travelling case can equally be found in the pages of this newspaper. For there is another, more stimulating article. If we turn the fleeing revolutionary to the back page, renowned prima ballerina of the Novovic Ballet disappears from Shanghai. Such a headline can lead us to but one conclusion. Your crime is that of abduction. And according to this article, that young lady's name is Nikolina Pavlova. This concludes Sherlock Holmes' great deduction of this Russian enigma, Elemensky. He sure puts on a show. Sato-san, that wasn't one of the great deductions I've been hearing so much about, was it? Well, the stories are full of Mr. Holmes' brilliant deductions, you know? But that did seem a little different somehow. Excuse me, Mr. Holmes, could you come over here a moment? It really be energy I strive for. Ray, what can I do for you? It's about your deductions. Would you mind? No, so go on. Well, to start with, there's the newspaper article. I think we had the same discussion before, but these two men look nothing like each other. Ah, yes, I recall our discussion earlier, and at the time I believe I told you that the man is a revolutionary, well, able to revolutionise his own appearance. In fairness to Mr. Holmes, Mr. Roylott does look more like this man than you do. That's not the point. He also accused me of being... And another thing, the part about him abducting the ballerina? Indeed, a truly startling revelation. At first glance, the case would appear too small to accommodate a young woman. Not just at first glance, it is too small. Clearly. You'll be lucky to fit a 5-year-old child in that case, even if you push really hard. I don't suppose the missing ballerina is a 5-year-old child, is she? You mean you don't know? No, the young lady is 15. No, I didn't know. How could I? Well, if she's 15, then 10 years worth of her would be poking out of the case. Some years ago I read something pertinent, I believe. A troop of men consuming vinegar daily in order to promote a certain litheness in their bodies. Vinegar? For such a sour bunch, it would sure be simplicity itself to contort oneself into the confines of that small case. Oh dear, you might be thinking of contortionists in the circus, Mr. Sholmes. This whole thing is turning into a circus. Mr. Naruhodo, something occurred to me about Mr. Sholmes' deductions just now. I think his powers of observation are, well, magical. His eyes cut to the heart of the matter almost instantly. It's just where he directs his attention and his logic that seems a little off. Your idea of a little may be a little off itself, Mr. Sato. It's just one or two key words in his deductions that seem to let him down. Why don't we switch between Mr. Sato and Susato-san? So I was wondering if we might perhaps tactfully switch them for alternatives. What do you think? Switch some key words in his deductions? Yes, but very tactfully. I feel sure if we could do that, we'd unlock the true genius of Mr. Sholmes' great deductions. Was there speaking English? Oh, good point, good point. Precisely the thought that was going through my own head. This man is a lot of work. At times I wonder how anyone puts up with me. It's not that funny. Ah, and you, my good fellow. Sorry? Take a moment to look at your wrists. My where are your handcuffs? Huh? Wait, who did... I felt they may hinder your ability to follow me in our dance of deduction. I didn't. I don't believe it. Mr. Sholmes, you are a moth. You'd make a brilliant criminal detective. And don't worry, I shall restore shackles to your wrists when we are finished. I'm not worried, in fact, I'd rather stay like this. So, let us begin. Sherlock Sholmes is proud to present his Logic and Reason Spectacular. Alright, we'll catch that. Yeah. I'm not sure. Would you really use shears like that to cut off a beard? I doubt that's something I'll ever have to worry about. It doesn't quite sit right with me though. It doesn't seem to be sitting right with Mr. Roylott either. Which means I suppose the deduction's wrong. Let's try switch a keyword here, Naruhodo-san, and see if it helps. Alright, but how? I think we should start by taking a long, hard look at Mr. Roylott. I wonder if it's really his beard he was intending to use those shears on. Indeed. If we do manage to find something that seems to fit the sense of Mr. Sholmes' deduction better, then what? Then I'll leave the rest in your capable hands, Naruhodo-san. Why am I the one doing something about this? Well, anyway, let's see if there's anything we can even use to switch around in that last sentence. I like the idea that they are Sholmes is doing this and they just suddenly interrupt him and start speaking Japanese to leave him out of the conversation. What exactly was Mr. Roylott really going to use those enormous shears for? Alright, so... Oh! Sorry, you have such long hair, and also I can't control the camera as much as I'd like. Like it is... like a cape. What the... what's this? It looks like a skate of stunning golden locks. No, 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 no. The colour's not the point. The point is that what it's doing in the back of Mr. Roulette's head, and how is it growing from underneath this thick black hair? Well, yes, that's true. So it's stunningly beautiful and stunningly surprising. Something definitely not right here.
Yes!
Oh, okay. Alright, I see. You were on the verge of using the shears to cut away the golden locks you sport. It's because you spin the silos so the screen's kind of stuck in this. Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of been a problem with them adapting a lot of the games, I think. Indeed, you were identified the precise detail I was intending to expose. Such lush golden hair certainly does not befit an old man. You're not a man at all, you're a woman, and judging from the light and sheen of your hair, one still very much in her youth. Oh no. If only I'd managed to cut off my hair, no one would have suspected. The question that begs is this: why would you desire to rid yourself of those magnificent locks? It's not exclusive women, let me tell you. I mean, yeah. I mean, what do you think? Once again, the answer is plain. We have clear evidence to shed light on the matter. I'm sure it needs no further clarification. The evidence that reveals your true identity is the article about the revolutionary. Mr. Sholmes. Well, that was a shock. I had no idea that old man was really a young woman in disguise, did you? And then that Mr. Sholmes would still think... What? Why are you staring at me like that? Yes, it was a surprise. Naruhodo-san. You're enjoying this, aren't you? Sorry? You look like you're in your element as you dance around the room deducing the facts from Mr. Sholmes. I'm just doing what we agreed. I'm not having fun or anything. This is strictly business. Now it's strictly come... You want to make that joke? Yes, yes, I understand. Say no more. Well, anyway, let's I mean, Pineapple, I was just getting at them for the Strictly Come Dancing joke, but if you want to make that joke, if you want to go there... Well, anyway, let's focus on the next part of Mr. Sholmes' deduction, shall we? The evidence that he picked out doesn't fit the facts at all now. No, that's true, given that Mr. Roylott is actually a woman. Exactly. They can't possibly be this merciless revolutionary. I suppose it's because the deduction as a whole has taken a different direction now. Yes. Let's switch the evidence for something else. Something that fits the facts as we understand them. For some reason, this woman needs to try and hide her true identity. I feel as though I've either read or heard about a young woman in a situation like this recently. Alright, I'll do my best.
Yes!
The evidence that reveals your true identity is, of course, the article about the ballerina. That's right, you've hit the nail on the head. Renowned prima ballerina of the Novavik Ballet disappears from Shanghai. It would appear we are finally able to address you by your true name. Yes, because your true identity is that of the Novavik Ballet's prima ballerina. Miss Nikolina Pavlova. Ma'am, you shouldn't throw scissors like that! Oh, thank God for that hat. Those are some earrings. You're right. My real name is Nina. I mean, Nikolina Pavlova. But please, I beg you, don't tell anyone. About wig. Now, as for my second conclusion, you are, at this very moment, on the brink of committing a most grievous crime. And the proof of this crime, over there. Oh yes, Miss Pavlova, taken unawares, people have a propensity to let their eyes stray, you see. And I assure you that I speak so much more eloquently and honestly than the mouth. The answer we seek lies in a furtive glance false. The proof of your crime sits before our very eyes. Yes, the travelling case. This woman is the ballerina and she's right in front of our eyes, so clearly she can't be inside the travelling case as well. No, that's right. It seems she wasn't abducted at all. In which case, what is the crime this young woman is apparently committing? I can see I'm going to have to step in and fix Great Detective's mistake again. You seem to look pleased, Naruhodo-san. Do you like the idea of another chance to dance around with Mr. Schultz? Stop it. Anyway, there must be something else here that shows what this woman is up to. Ah. Wow, look at this dazzling tiara. I've never seen anything like it. Oh, those real diamonds, do you think? Are those real diamonds, do you think? Oh, Naruhodo-san, try it on. What, me? Isn't it usually girls who wear tiaras? Wouldn't you like to try it on? No, you need to wear it for this dance. If you're going to do this dance, you need to wear the tiara. Oh no, I couldn't possibly. It's far too beautiful. Why does this tiara look familiar? I feel like I've seen it somewhere recently.
Yes!
See, because it jumped back to the case, I was worried for a second I'd somehow accidentally clicked the case. The proof of your crime is surely this tiara. I believe this tiara is worn on stage by dancers in the Novik Ballet, is it not? Indeed, it would appear to be identical to the tiara pictured here in this article, in this newspaper article. And if the reporting is to be believed, it's an item worth 20,000 rubles. In summary, the crime you have committed is theft. Oh no. Yes, you left your ballet troupe unlawfully, taking their precious tiara with you. I have no one, no family, no friends. I am all alone and I need money. But I did not steal the tiara. It was a present from, how do you say, an Earl of Prussia? It belongs to me. This girl is only 15 years old and she's run away all by herself. She must have been extremely lonely. Alright, I will tell you everything. There's no point in hiding it now. Come, let us not be hasty. What? There remains one unsolved mystery about you. What do you mean? You have staunchly refused to open this travelling case of yours in our presence. It is reasonable to conclude, therefore, that there exists some reason why you wish it to remain closed. Is that not so, Miss Pavlova? My dear girl, there is no sense in playing games with me. Nothing escapes my attention. You are clearly in this case. Indeed, I have a very good idea of the contents of your case even before I've ever laid eyes on them. Dear me, we are not well suited for a life crime, are we? You're careless Once again, we need only follow your furtive glance to find the answer. Yes, the reason why you refused to open the case is written in the books on the shelf. What? He's completely changed tact with his deduction now. I think Mr. Sholmes is adapting his logic to the changing circumstances, don't you? Maybe, but why was his son brought up the bookcase into all this? It's just a wild guess, surely. Oh, do you think so? Well, it doesn't seem like the reason why this young woman doesn't want to open her case would have been written in a book that doesn't even belong to her. Yes, that's true. But still, Miss Pavlova certainly did cast her eyes in that direction. I noticed it myself. But there has to be another reason why she won't open her case. But it must be somewhere in the same area if that's where her gaze was involved with Terry John. I agree, that's the only answer. What she has hidden inside that case should be revealed by following her gaze in the direction of the bookcase. Oh. There's a passage for travelling aboard this. We've read this. So if you break the rules, oh dear, surely punishment would be severe. Naruhodo-san is probably left adrift in the freezing cold ocean, or shut inside a tiny wardrobe for days on end. So I've actually been serving time for weeks now, have I? Oops.
Yes!
Yes, the reason why you refused to open your case is written in the rules of passage. Passengers must not keep weapons or other dangerous objects in their cabin. Pets are also strictly forbidden. Inside that case of yours is something forbidden from the carriage on this vessel. That is the real reason why you refused to open it, thus revealing its contents. As we've seen, the trunk wobbles from time to time, but no weapon or dangerous item would move on its own accord. Which leaves but one possibility, Miss Pavlova. Inside your travelling case is the last item listed as forbidden in the vessel's rules of passage, a pet. So clearly, you aren't who you say you are. No, I am not Grimsby Roylet. My real name is Nikolina Pavlova. Everything you said was correct. You absconded during one of your ballet company's performances in order to escape your homeland. Later that same night, you stole aboard this vessel, which couldn't have been easy. The Burya is a huge steamship with a vast crew. Could she really have snuck on board without being noticed? In order to obscure your true identity, you somewhat recklessly used the guise of an old gentleman, and you intended to sever all links with your past by severing your long hair. Yet to a woman here is no trifling matter. My personal recommendation is to leave well alone. So, if it was just you about to cut your own hair, who was it that let out the scream we heard from outside the cabin? That veritable tinkling of bell? Why, None other than the young lady, naturally. More like a full set of pipes, if you ask me. I was so scared that when I rang away from Shanghai. I was sure they would come looking for me. That's why I decided to, how do you say, disguise myself, so no one would recognize me. As a result, you transformed yourself into a questionable old man. I see. I put on the fur hat and fake beard. Then just before you came in, I saw in the newspaper, right on the page, there's a picture of me. I was so frightened, I couldn't stop from screaming. I knew that if I didn't change my appearance completely, they would find me. So I decided to cut all my hair as fastly as possible. I picked up the scissors in my hand and... At that precise moment, we walked on through the annoying unlocked cabin door. Things happen like that sometimes, don't they? Things do indeed happen like that, from time to time. Are those two even talking about the same thing? There's just one thing I'd like to know. What exactly do you have inside your travelling case? You were right. It's my dear friend inside. My only friend in the whole world. Please, don't tell anyone. If the captain finds out, if you say it to any of the crew. Your secret is safe with us, I assure you. But in return, you must tell us as much detail as you can muster about the events of last night. Yes, alright. I would tell you. Well, Mr. Naruhodo? Wasn't it something? Mrs. Sholmes' great deduction? It was certainly something, yes. I'm just not entirely sure what. But at least Miss Pavlova has agreed to tell us what she knows. That's incredible. Indeed, it is incredible. And one more thing. Oh, yes, what? Observe your wrists. Your hands are cuffed again. What? How? True to my word, I have restored your shackles. When and why? Still a shadow of guilt cast over you, Mr. Naruhodo. I'm sorry to say, it can't be helped at the moment. Can't it? Really? Anyway, let's listen to what Miss Pavlova has to say. I can't go on not knowing. I have to find out what that speckled band that Kazuma-sama wrote about in his diary really was. Okay, alright, I'm going to end off there, because that's been a decent chunk we've done today. And we'll see who is live. Twitch. Open Twitch. Let's go. We'll send you to June. Summer. Malay. No. I'm not going to bother for a raid today. But thank you guys. I did enjoy the dance of deduction very much. You know, for ways to find me. So, bye bye guys. Bye bye.